Welcome to my views and news, another video for you. Rapid developments in northern Ethiopia, rapid battlefield developments. Ethiopian Federal Forces, Amhara Regional Forces, Eritrean military are making rapid territorial gains in northern Ethiopia. The advance, which started from Shire, is not stopping. Tigray forces are losing ground. Major towns and cities are being lost. Just two are now left, otherwise all have been lost. In the previous video, we talked about Aksum, historic city of Tigray, which came under ENDF, EDF control. Today, from Shire, they moved towards Slaleka, Vikro, Aksum. From Eritrean border side as well, they were moving towards Aksum. And now another battlefield territorial gain for Ethiopian and Eritrean forces. Adwa to the east of Aksum, where reportedly ENDF and EDF soldiers are patrolling the streets of Adwa city, though there was some fighting in the outskirts of Adwa after TDF lost Aksum. And in previous video we discussed that Adwa was one of the fronts where there was deployment of tens of thousands of Tigray fighters. There were four main defense lines of Tigray forces: Shire, Adwa, Atagarat, and then Mekelle, obviously to the east and to the south of Mekelle. Defense lines and North Gonda too. But after Shire's fall, all defense lines of Tigray forces have collapsed. Tigray forces are now repositioning themselves. Adwa lost by Tigray forces, and now obviously pressure will be built on Mekelle, on Adagarat. From Adwa, ENDF and EDF can enter central Tigray too, because from Adwa to Mekelle there is a main road which passes through central Tigray. And Adwa's fall means that areas to the north of Adwa, Rama and others would also come under ENDF and EDF control. So what happened? Was there any fighting in Adwa town? No confirmation about any large-scale fighting in Adwa. Reportedly, when ENDF and EDF moved towards Adwa from Aksum, Tigray fighters were in control of some high places close to Adwa. There was some fighting in the outskirts, but then gradually Tigray forces withdrew from Adwa in two directions. Most sources say that they withdrew towards Adagarat and towards central Tigray along Adwa Abeyadi road. The road I mentioned, Adwa Mekelle road, which passes through central Tigray. So they retreated in two directions, towards Adagarat and towards central Tigray. Obviously, Ethiopian Federal Forces and Eritrean military, they would now move towards Adagarat. Adagarat is not close to Adwa. It means that it's not that in coming hours Adagarat can come under ENDF, EDF control, though there could be push towards Adagarat from Eritrea too. We know that fighting has been going on near Zilambasa for days. So now when Tigray forces have lost Adwa, they have retreated from Adwa, it means that they have lost one supply line for their troops in Adagarat. Western supply route from Adwa towards Adagarat cut off. Northern side already under pressure because through Zilambasa, EDF trying to move in on Adagarat. So we could see a two-pronged push towards Adagarat from Eritrea and from Adwa side. and we could see multi-pronged push towards Mekelle too. From afar, where there is presence of Eritrean military, afar forces. From southern Tigray, Raya, where we know that ENDF and Amhara forces, they have reached close to Macho, Mehoni. From there, from Abergale, Amhara region, where there is ENDF and Amhara Special Force deployment. From three directions, we could see massive quick push towards Mekelle. And if Adwa falls, if Adwa fell, obviously it would lead to tremendous pressure upon Mekelle. So before Monday's talks, it seems that Tigray could lose more ground. Tigray forces could lose more ground. It started from Shire, one fall. One main town of Tigray came under ENDF, EDF control, and you saw what happened after that. All towns along B30 taken. Up to Adwa, from Shire is B30 highway. Then to the east of Adwa is A2 highway. A2 highway, Adagarat, Mekelle, Alamata, Koram, Dasi, Kambolcha road, second main road, main highway in Tigray. It means that now Ethiopian and Eritrean militaries have reached A2 highway. They have captured all towns along B30 highway. B30 highway entire under ENDF, EDF control. Next target, A2 highway, Adagarat, Mekelle. And Tigray is now in control of only two major cities, Adagarat and Mekelle. Some other towns as well, like Agula, Wakro and others, but two main cities are Adagarat and Mekelle. What is TDF doing? Is it fighting back? Is it trying to defend main town cities? No, it is not. Shire's fall was a decisive blow to Tigray forces. And since then, we have been seeing that Tigray forces have been retreating, keeping their capabilities intact. Yes, during withdrawal, there is always fighting, small-scale fighting, because those forces which withdraw, sometimes they do put up some resistance, because if they don't put up any resistance, the other side can launch major attacks on them. And secondly, while Tigray forces have withdrawn from major towns and cities, there could be presence of some TDF fighters, like close to Shire, in Axom, in Koram, like I reported. It's not that TDF is launching counteroffensives near Shire, in Axom, but sometimes when tens of thousands of soldiers retreat, they withdraw, some units are cut off. It happens. So those are cut off units of Tigray forces which will have to surrender, or they'll have to fight their way out of the places where they are, or they could be killed too. So it's not that TDF is launching counteroffensives near Shire. Even they were in Koram, but even there we saw that Tigray forces ultimately retreated, or they were put out of action, but Koram under full control of ENDF and Amhara forces. So this is a complete retreat. Call it retreat or withdrawal, but it shows that Tigray is unable to defend its territories through this conventional strategy of large-scale defensive operations. Tigray is going back to what it did in November 2020. That in November 2020, Tigray forces lost all major towns. They retreated towards the central Tigray. They beefed up their defenses there. They mixed up with locals, and they started guerrilla warfare. They divided into small units and they carried out hit and run attacks, ambushes. That is how they survived. And from November 2020 till June 2021, they survived. And in June 2021, PM Abiy said that Mekelle had ceased, that Mekelle was no more center of gravity. It had lost strategic significance. And then ENDF, EDF withdrew. Though Tigray says that they could not hold on to their gains in Tigray and they had to retreat because of TDF's counteroffensive. Whatever was the reason, but ENDF, EDF, they had to retreat from Tigray in June 2021. So, same seems to be happening now, but will Tigray forces be allowed to set up defenses in central Tigray this time? What about talks, Monday's talks? If Tigray forces lose Mekelle before Monday, will they attend talks? Will they be in a position to attend talks? Because all airports will come under ENDF, EDF control. How will Tigray leaders be taken to South Africa? Tigray representatives can only be taken to South Africa if there is at least one airport operational. Of course, they cannot be taken by road to South Africa, and they wouldn't like to go by road. They would like to go by air to South Africa. They have to ensure their security as well. So if all airports come under ENDF, EDF control, it is very likely in the next 24 hours, it means that Tigray representatives will not be able to attend Monday's talks. So coming 24 hours are very crucial. Tigray forces repositioning, regrouping. They are moving back towards their stronghold, central Tigray. And they could lose Adwa and Mekelle. I don't know in how many days, but the way ENDF and EDF are rapidly progressing in Tigray, they could lose Adwa and Mekelle in coming days. Thank you for watching.